There's no excuse that is going to work for us when we give into temptation, and this is why. Because God always makes a way out, but it's our choice to choose to give into the temptation or to choose the way out that God has prepared for us. Temptation and the only way out. So what is temptation? Temptation is the desire to do something wrong or unwise, and diverse is several, many. So diverse temptation is many different kinds of wrong desires and unwise decision that a person will choose to make. So turn your Bibles with me to James chapter 1. We're reading from verse 2. Then we'll go to verse 12 to verse 16, and it says this. My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations. Verse 12. Blessed is the man that endureth. And now endureth here means to remain firm in your faith without giving into that temptation. So blessed is the man that endureth temptation. For when he is tried, and tried here means when we are tested. So, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord had promised to them that love him. Verse 13. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. Verse 14. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lusts and enticed. And enticed here means given into that lust that we are drawn away by. So I'll read verse 14 again. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Given into that lust. Now, you're drawn away by a lust and you're enticed because you give into it. Verse 15. Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Because we know the wages of sin is death. So it starts off as lust. And when lust is conceived, when you're given to the lust, it is sin. And when sin is come forth now, the wages of sin brings death. So, verse 16 says, do not err, my beloved brethren. So, err here means do not be mistaken. Do not make a mistake. Do not err, my beloved brethren. So, temptation is a presenter. It presents itself to you. It presents itself to us. And when you do what the temptation offers you, that is sin. By doing the act. So say for example, you get a desire to steal. Now, the thought comes. But what is the sin now is that you actually do what the temptation presents. You go and you steal. And that is sin. And sin bringeth forth death, because the wages of sin is death. But hear this. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 13. There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye be able to bear it. Let me read this piece again. Who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able. God knows your strength. He knows how much you could handle. He knows what you can take. He knows what you can bear. But will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. Now, while the temptation is presenting itself, hear this. When temptation presents itself, God also presents a way out of those wrong desires and those unwise desires, encouraging us to stay on the narrow path so that we don't go on the broad path away from him. Now you got to choose to stay on the narrow path or to go on the broad path. It's your choice, brethren. Be encouraged.